Hey guys, KCJ here, and today we're going to be turning this into this. That's right, and earn into the recently departed. May you rest in peace. Now, with hand on heart, I say that I will put the ultimate amount of love and respect into this piece as I possibly can, because being tasked with such a build is really quite an honor. So here we have some half-burned eucalyptus, which I swear is going to be staggeringly beautiful, and some old black walnut. Now let's get going. Now, rough carpentry tools are definitely not the right type of tools for fine woodworking. However, it's what we got, so it's what we're gonna use. That was too sketchy. I just snapped it with the chisel instead. Now, I have an idea. There's something about fire that signifies rebirth in the weirdest of ways. The universe does work in paradoxes, it seems. So we've got a little scorch from the fire left over right there, and I think I'm gonna leave it. However, when it comes to woodworking, no matter how big the piece is, you're always just barely making it. And speaking of just barely making it, we've got about 11 inches until we have a massive crack here, which I think is gonna be just enough for this base. And just by the way, this eucalyptus might actually be oak. Now, one of the most gut-wrenching and painful, poopy projects I ever worked on was while working at San Benito Mill and Timber. And shout out to San Benito Mill and Timber. But it was this table right here. And it's oftentimes the things that are the biggest pain in our butts that end up being the nicest. I think you probably get the picture. This box, if you will, is going to have 6 sides. So far I'm working on side 1, but it's just a matter of going from jointer to table saw back and forth until we get to the pieces that we need before gluing them up. Right, for the base we have that, what I believe is actually oak, live edge front, and for the top we have some hand milled book matched black walnut. And I've got an idea for the sides of this thing. See, the photo that my friend sent me of the recently departed had a big Monterey cypress in the background of the photo. So I think we should use Monterey cypress for the sides, and I know just the place to get some of that. Well, all right, San Benito Mill and Timber. Now, if you're anywhere in the SF Bay Area, I would highly recommend checking them out for all of your custom millwork needs. And I say that from knowing, because any little nick, knack, scratch, or ding in any of the products would have to be redone, ensuring that you get the best quality product ever. Ryan's not paying me to say that. I'm just saying that because it's true. Now let's find some Monterey cypress. Thanks, Ryan. Now I've got to thickness this board down a little bit, and by thickness it down, I actually mean make it thinner. And the proper tool for that would be a thickness planer. However, I don't have that, so table saw it is. Wish me luck.
No planer? No problem.
Almost did that wrong. All right, guys, clearly this project isn't done. I think it looks a little bit like the workbench that Homer Simpson made that one time. However, take my word, it's gonna look fantastic when we all are done. Even though the project isn't done for today, we are. Stay tuned for part 2. Project Possible Woodworks is no more. But the Woods division of Truth Nugget Co., I think, is coming back. Woo! So here we go for part 2 of this custom urn box. So now over here to my left, I have a brand new laser engraver, which my brother is working on getting the software worked out. I'm sure there's going to be a heck of a learning curve, but we really want to get that right to have the recently departed's picture on there, have it look good. So for the top of the urn box, I already went ahead and glued it up, as you can see here. Now, as you can also see, I'm working with very little tools. So to glue up the base, what I'm actually going to do is use this dowel jig, not for any strength, but simply for alignment purposes. And I don't even think I'm going to use clamps. I'm just going to tap it all together and get a good glue joint there. We're not going to do anything with this yet until we have figured out the laser engraver. So let's go ahead and mark our lines where we're going to put these dowels and get a few holes drilled. Guys, now if you've never used or seen one of these little dowel jigs, they're super handy. You can buy them from Rockler for like $50. You get a set of 3. You get 1/4 inch 3/8. and 1/2 inch sizes in there. Even if you're not a woodworker, I highly recommend getting one of these. You'll find a million uses for them, just like I'm doing right now. So let's give ourselves a mark there, mark here. And then to use this guy, it's pretty simple. You just throw it on there, put your drill bit in your drill, and go to town. So we got a little glue on there, and I don't even have a mallet. When it comes to beating your wood, you don't want to use anything harder than the wood itself. So what I'm going to use is some of this walnut with a little bit of redwood backing that I can use to tap, 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 as to not dent the wood we want to protect. Just like that, we have an almost perfect joint. One clamp, we got a little bit of squeeze out, and I think we're dialed. Yeah, that'll be fine. Fantastic. We have the laser engraver going. We've run a few tests so far. We're getting it dialed in. I think we're just about there. This is our last test, and we can work on the front piece of this box, which we've yet to glue up because we obviously have to laser engrave it. So now we can get to a whole bunch of sanding. At this point, there'd be nothing stopping me from just going full bore and going to sand these whole pieces right now. However, as you can tell, a few of these pieces are much bigger than we need them to be. So I'm going to rough cut them back to closer to their desired size. However, I don't want to cut them all the way down to their desired size because this piece isn't glued up. I don't know their desired size yet. These processes oftentimes require baby steps until we get to the final result. So I'm going to rough cut these down a little bit and get to sanding. Sorry, did I just spray dust all over you? My bad. Our next step is to prepare to glue up this box, but we're only going to glue up the back to the two sides. We're not going to glue up the front yet because that has to first go to the laser engraver. Now, I'm a little bit afraid of this knot right here, which is on the front piece, which is what's going to be laser engraved. This side is where the recently departed photo is going. Over here is going to be some kind words. I hope this knot doesn't present too much of a problem at the laser engraver, but we'll see. That's how this sort of thing goes when you're working on these projects. Now we can go ahead and set our depth on the laser engraver, then do our absolute darndest to get this in the right spot. There we go. That's going to be about 4 to 5 hours, and I need that phone, so no time lapse for you. Hey, you want to know what we're doing? That's right, we're dithering. Literally, that's what it's doing. It's called dithering. Wouldn't you know? With the three sides of our box glued up, we can now go ahead and make our final cuts for the top, and the bottom is actually already good. Now, the very base of this has a live edge, which is very round and natural. The box is obviously very square, so I think for the top, we need to do something with the edges of this top board. And I'm thinking I'm just going to do a bevel cut that's just putting the miter saw at an angle, slicing each edge, then I'll put the table saw at an angle too, and slice the front bevel as well. And of course, I forgot to film the final glue up, but hey, here it is. And forgive the dogs, they've got squirrel in the tree. And now we very carefully give this thing its final sanding. Would y'all look at that? That's really cool. And this is where it all goes wrong, or hopefully right. Now that's looking really pretty good. Our final step is going to be to somehow attach this top to the base and actually have it be removable so it's not fully attached. And for that, what I'm going to do is drill a few holes and then use magnets to connect the box to the top. What I'm going to do for alignment is use these little dowel centering pins that I can put in the hole after I drill it, put the top back on here, and I know where to drill the hole into the top. In go these little centering pins Our top goes on. We line it up the best we can. Hope that does it. Now we have marks and we know where to drill the holes on the top. Look at that. And we are just about there. Now, I was going to super glue these magnets into these holes, but frankly, I think the friction fit works just fine. I'm going to give it a quick final little sanding, and then it's time for some spray lacquer. And now what we've all been waiting for, a close-up of some finish going on the book-matched black walnut. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people think they make bass boats shiny to attract the fish, and that's not true. They make bass boats shiny to attract rednecks. Now, it took everything in me, everything in my internal redneck to not go with a shiny finish for this. However, if you look at the beautiful photo here, the recently departed looks happy and peaceful. Shiny is more satin flat finishes, calm, and I think that's what we need for this piece and in life. Okay, guys, picture time. And with that, this project is over. It's the end. We're done. But I think that begs a question that we all have. And is there more to this? Frankly, I think there is. Frankly, I think that if there wasn't more to this, this box would just be a box. But this box isn't just a box. I choose to believe there's more. And I hope you choose to believe there's more. Apparently, Carol's favorite song was La Vie en Rose, that is, A Life in Rose, to see the positive side of things. I think these are challenging times, and frankly, I hope we all choose to speak and carry ourselves in ways that when we do, angels will sing from above. Bye, guys.